All right, welcome back, everyone. We are into the midpoint of our challenge, and today is all about share. It's about clarifying your core message. And I want to welcome you back to the Spark to Scale Challenge, part of the Stand Out Virtually series. I'm Jennifer Britton, and chances are by now you've got some great ideas. We are going to continue to move them forward. And here's where we've been. We've been really looking at not only our spark, but our scale. And so first day, started off, of course, with our spark. Yesterday, we were looking at our shape. You might recall that we did some work around our containers. And my guess is that you're on one of these three pathways. Either you're wanting to write a book, so sparking your story, wanting to amplify your message, sparking to scale, or wanting to expand your reach by sparking to serve, by coaching many, expanding your voice from one to many into the group and team coaching realm. This is an au naturel. You're going to hear some wind, you might hear some noise. I'm recording this in summer of 2025 in the landscape where I get my most incredible sparks. And so really wanted to bring the energy of beautiful Muskoka to you as part of this 5-day challenge, because we can be doing great work, but how do we really stand out? And that's a big part of this entire series that I started back in summer of 2020. So here we are in 2025. I want to ask you, what are you going to move forward today? We've been doing different exercises. I thought today it might be interesting to bring our conversation sparker charms. These are one of our best sellers. We've sold hundreds of copies of these, and they come in either a pouch or in this fun magnetic canister now. And so I'm going to just randomly pull out 3 charms. So let's see what we have. 1, 2, and 3. They all feel really sticky. And actually 4, I think 5 came out. So I'm going to just randomly pull some. We have got a shovel. Okay, so we've got the shovel. We've got a peg, clothes peg. And also, I'll use this one because I think this is fun. We've got 2 more here. One looks like a pizza cutter. We'll call it a pizza cutter. And the other, a crown. And that is beside the ship, the sailboat that came out. So there's a lot of different images there, whether it's the shovel, whether it's the crown, whether it's the pizza or craft cutter, or whether it's our sort of slash scissors slash clothes peg and the sailboat. What is important for you? I'm going to put a timer on. We will just get into sort of about 30 seconds of this. I'm going to stop the share so that we can get the timer going. What is important about one or more of these for you today? Let's take a minute. Sketch them out. All right. I got my regular timer back. I'm really excited to hear that. So this is interesting. I think it's so interesting that these came up. You probably had something different, but I want to share with you my story. So this challenge to me is about digging into the ground, digging into your core element to see what is important. What is it that you want to be unearthing in order to really put your crown on, to really stand out, to be in your zone of genius, as Gay Hendricks says, to do your best work so that you can really get into a flow state, using the wind, using the rudder, getting defined in terms of where you're going with your clients. And that may mean that we've really been, embarking on some things this week, like a pizza cutter or a craft cutter. We've been sort of like cutting out the fabric. We've been refining what that fabric is, and I hope that you'll find the next 3 days does that. And then we're using the safety pin or the scissors to really, like, hang it up. If you imagine, just like I have behind me, our clothes rack here that's been here for almost 100 years, how do we, like, hang it up on the line so that it can blow in the breeze, have that wonderful crispness that's created only through the sunshine and the wind, but that we can lay it out on the rope and see what is happening. So I hope that you found that valuable. Again, these are part of the conversation sparkers. Each sparker bag is a little bit different because you might be saying, but wait, I've never seen that. And this is one of our newer series, which has some of the standard ones like the owl, etc. You can find out more at conversationsparker.com. Here's what I want to say. So today is officially day 3. I'm going to be doing an added bonus day, which is going to help you think about creating a micro experience. Because as you take people on the journey of a new message, a new book, a new conversation and coaching, you want to stand out in a different way. So be sure to stay tuned for that bonus one on creating a micro experience. But here's our journey so far this week. We started with your initial idea. Maybe you're continuing to go back to it. Maybe you're starting to cut it out, or maybe you're seeing that actually there's 3 different days and you're going to put 3 different ideas on the line. Your container and how you want to take this out into the world, the shape, the size, the how is it big? Is it wide? Is it part of a series? We spent time looking at that yesterday. And then today is looking at the share. How and who do you want to get this out into the world? Day 4 is gonna be looking at scaling this, at the expansion of nurturing from seed to actual plant and entire ecosystem. And the final step of day 5 is gonna be talking about how do you sustain this? Because it's not just enough to have a plan, but how do you sustain this? How do you get this out into the world over a 90-day period? And that's where day 5 is really gonna be about getting you to think about what support do you need in order to move from plan to execution so that your spark can go to where you wanna go. We can move from A to B. And if you take a look at the sustainment, you're going to notice that it's not a straight path, right? There are a lot of dips and curves along the way. That's why it's so important to have a community, to have a guide, to really be supporting you through the ups and downs of the creative journey. And I hope that you found that even in the creative journey of this week, that our container together has been valuable. So look at what we're doing on multiple levels. So, with that, whatever pathway you're on today, I think you're going to find today's idea of share is useful. And so, the idea is sharing this. Who are you going to be sharing this with? Who is your ideal client? And what is, again, the way that you want to do it? Is it a beta group? Is it doing a challenge? Is it putting something in your online store? Is it taking it out through speaking, being on podcasts? Lots of different options in terms of how we wanna get our work out into the world as an author, as a coach, as a creator. So today really is the who and the how, and of course, I've got some more images for us to work with. So we're gonna spend 2 minutes getting you to first lean in and think about what is the image that you wanna be working with today? How do you wanna be sharing your message? What could that look like? Pick an image, go with your gut, and start to sketch it out. As you're leaning into this, what do you notice? What's present? What's the energy? And again, as you lean in, what is really present in this image? If you had to give it a caption, what would the caption say? So, what is the maybe the energy, as we said, but what is the caption of what this is all about? Now, today is about the who. So, who are you really serving? If you think about these images, who are you serving and what are they yearning for? And the next question is going to be when you think about the how and the vehicle that they want, what is the type of vehicle they want to be connecting with you around? And as you think about that vehicle, what is important about this stage of the journey? What is important for you, for your folks around this stage of the journey? Given that this is about sharing, what else is important? What else do you notice about what is important in the sharing process? How do people want to share? Where do they want to share? And I want to bring back these elements again, the notion of the shovel, the sailboat, the clothespin, the crown, and the pizza or craft cutter. As you think about sharing, what is important about those elements and what you're creating right now? And final piece, I'm going to just share some of the questions that came up for me. Um, what is the fabric that you want to be, cutting in this process? Is there an actual fabric? And will that become a sale? Or, like the image I chose today, is it going to be the tablecloth? What is the fabric that you want to create in this experience with your clients? All right. So metaphorically, today has been about share. It's been about thinking about who you're going to be connecting with, what they want, how they want to share, what's the energy of this. Maybe you got a real clear view on your vehicle or what they're yearning for. I just included this question too around fabrics. How do they really want to share? Is it online, offline? Is it large group? Is it small group? Is it reading something? Is it listening to something? I think as we think about sharing, there's a lot of different layers. Part of our work as coaches, especially, and I would put this in the category of writers and also in program designers, it's not about giving people power, it's about helping them discover the power they already have. So, what is going to unlock that power for people? What is going to empower them? And I think today's question really is how can people experience your work in a low risk way? My hope is that through this week's session, that you've been getting a sense of the creativity and innovation and experiences that underpin our work. It's not just about asking a question, but unearthing, unlocking some of these deeper layers in the creative process as we've been going through. So I want to leave you with 45 minutes because I know sometimes when we end the video, that's going to be it. So what are the ideas that are coming forward as you think about how can people experience your work in a low risk way? What would that look like? All right. So before we go, we're going to do one more creative exercise, which is, of course, our Reconnecting Workspaces dice. We've used the yellow set, we've used the green set. I'm gonna go to the purple set today and see each one is a different set of days. So this is covering the purple set covers days 36 through to 53, 36 to 53. So let's take a look at what we got. So, first of all, we have problem solving. That takes us back to yesterday. What is the problem you're solving? And maybe to link it to today's share, what can you be doing to help people move forward with their problems? I'll just say, notice what we've been doing, helping you go through this experience. Second one that came up is practices and commitment. Practices and commitment. A big part of my work is about creating peer experiences. So, in addition to these on demand calls, I hope you'll check out the 3 live calls I'll be doing this week as well. But what are the practices and commitments you're making around this creative process for yourself? Whether it's writing your book, getting a group program out, what are you doing to really ensure that you're embedding time? And if you are wanting more time, I hope that you'll consider joining us either at the Learning Lab and Design Studio, where we meet for bi weekly calls and lab time. Maybe you're really committed to getting your book moving forward. And so the Writer's Intensive is an intensive 3-month process. It kicks off with a 3-day writing sprint. We then do weekly calls for 12 weeks, and it wraps up with another 30 days of writing sprints. I'll be kicking that off over Labor Day weekend, but also at select times throughout the year. The final piece, no surprise, is empathy. And I think this is a reminder if you haven't reviewed your empathy map, which is an exercise we do in Group Coaching Essentials, please take a look. Who are you serving? What do people want? What is important in their world right now? So I'm going to give us a minute and 45 seconds to really zoom into these 3. Again, we have got number 1. It is day number 41, problem solving. So what is a problem you solve? Number 2 is 49, practices and commitment. And number 3 is empathy, number 47. Why I'm giving you the numbers is because these link into the 90-day guide for success. So let's take a minute and we will wrap up in just a few. What's important about these images for you? All right. And that takes us to our field work, which is going to lead to a bonus. I'm going to be doing a bonus day, which is about creating a micro experience. Because as you heard, we want to give people an opportunity to think about how they can experience your work in a low risk way. So maybe there are some ideas already coming up. Maybe there is a need for some further spark on that. But just off the top of your head, what is the low risk way people can participate with you in moving from A to B in their journey? What's the lowest risk way? All right. Well, that is it for today. And I just want to share in closing my takeaway, and I'd invite you to think about your takeaway. But what became really clear in this third day is it's about helping it's for us here at Potentials Realized, accompanying you on the road. I hope that there are many ways that you can take us on the road, whether it's in your own work with the Conversation Sparker charms, which we've got to experience today. I know many of you have these in your bag and use them all the time. Maybe it's our podcast, right? Maybe it's a Coaching Mini podcast. Maybe you've had a taster through a challenge like this or some of our other challenges over the years, or maybe you've joined us for 5 weeks to a whole year in our ICF CCE approved programming. What's become really clear for me in this process today is the yearning for people to do things in a much more intensive way. And so I'm looking forward to having more intensive work on the road with folks here in Muskoka, back in the Caribbean, and maybe in your community. So, with that, we'll see you tomorrow in day 4. But also remember, there's a bonus, creating micro experiences. So check that out because it is all about experience design, a big part of the work that we've been focusing on this year at conversationsparker.com in our quarterly boosters. So the memorability workshop from Barbados earlier this year. And there will be a drawing if you're here live for an experience design session with me in September. That will be something that one business gets to go through as part of a certification that I am working on. So you'll get some consulting for your business free. So participate, make sure that you are feeding into the community what you are learning and what actions you're taking. Question of the day: how can people experience your work in a low risk way? I hope that you'll take 10 minutes, set a timer, and really see what comes forward so that you can be moving your processes forward. So, with that, have a great day, everyone. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.